E.L.A Solutions. For those of you all who are new here, my name is Miss Latoya from Latoya's Online Academy. We tutor primary and secondary school students. So we'll be looking at section 1, spelling, capitalization, and punctuation, as well as grammar. We have to remember that it is a paragraph and it's not just sentences. So let's read the entire paragraph before we identify the errors. The vicious sun was blazing furiously in the sky. My tortured feet were throbbing painfully while perspiration dripped profusely down my face. Despite experiencing exhaustion and distressful aches, I called upon my inner strength and courageously hurried to my comfortable house. A soothing shower relieved my swollen feet. Let's identify the errors. Now, the instruction says that we must circle the incorrect word. Please remember that you're getting marks for this as well. So it's important that you do so. The vicious. The word vicious is spelled incorrectly. The word should be V-I-C-I-O-U-S, not V-I-S. Okay, in this case, the C is making the soft S sound. Next line, my tortured feet were throbbing painfully while perspiration. Throbbing is the error here. We must recall our spelling rules. If we have one vowel, a single vowel, before the last consonant, we must double the last consonant. And this is the error here with throbbing. So it should be spelled T-H-R-O-B-B-I-N-G. So my tortured feet were throbbing painfully while perspiration dripped profusely down my face, despite experiencing. The error here is profusely. Profusely, the E is missing in profusely, just like some other words like likely, definitely. We're not getting rid of the E before we add the suffix. So it's profusely, P-R-O-F-U-S-E-L-Y. Despite experiencing exhaustion and distressful aches, I called upon my inner. The error here is distressful. Distressful is supposed to end with one L. The suffix is F-U-L, not F-U-L-L. So the correct spelling is D-I-S-T-R-E-S-S-F-U-L. Distressful. I called upon my inner strength and courageously hurried to my comfortable. Courageously, the error there is courageously, it's supposed to be courageously. So we have to remove the E, and courageously is spelled C-O-U-R-A-G-E-O-U-S-L-Y. I called upon my inner strength and courageously hurried to my comfortable house. A soothing shower relieved my swollen feet. The error here is relieved. I-E and E-I words. We have to remember I-E and E-I rules. We say I-E except after C, and of course there are several exceptions to that rule. So the correct spelling for relieved is going to be R-E-L-I-E-V-E-D. And that's it for the spelling errors. Now on to the punctuation and capitalization. Task 2. There is one punctuation or capitalization error in each line in the passage below. Insert the missing punctuation mark or capital letter in its correct place in each line. Now, before I do that, let's read the entire passage. Finally, I shouted excitedly as I grabbed the overdue brown package from Mr. Smith, the delivery man. It was my favorite novel, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, written by Roald Dahl, a famous British children's author. Instantly, I bolted off to add it to my book collection, fantasy, science fiction, and mystery. Now let's go through each line and identify the punctuation or capitalization errors. Finally, this is an exclamation. So we have to put an exclamation mark here just before the closing quotation mark. Remember, any word can be an explanation. Remember, any word can be an exclamation once it shows strong feelings or emotions. So finally, I shouted excitedly as I grabbed the overdue brown package from Mr. Smith, the delivery man. A comma is missing after Mr. Smith. It was my favorite novel, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Now, if we notice, we have a closing quotation mark at the end of the book title, and we don't have an opening quotation mark here. So we must insert the open quotation mark. It was my favorite novel, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, written by Roald Dahl, a famous British children's author. The error here is British. We have to put a capital B, British children's author. Instantly, I bolted off to add it to. Now, the error here is children's. Now, the word children is already plural. So what is missing here is an apostrophe. A famous British children's author. Instantly, I bolted off to add it to my book collection, fantasy, science fiction, and mystery. What is missing here is a colon. We use a colon just before any list of items. So a colon is missing here. And that's it for punctuation and capitalization. Final part of section 1 is grammar. Task 3, there is one grammar error in each line in the passage below. Draw a circle around the error and write the correct form of the word in the box provided. So again, I'm going to read the entire passage first before we identify the errors. The boys, as well as their parents, was passionate environmentalists. We decided that a cleanup campaign would be more effective way to improve the surrounding community. A visit to a nearby park was organized to select an appropriate location for the project, and unfortunately, adverse weather conditions prevented them by starting the activity. Now, if you read the passage just as it is given, you'll be able to pick up on a lot of errors. Okay, so the boys, the subject in this sentence here is the boys. And if the subject is plural, then the verb has to be plural. So that's error number 1. Okay, the boys were passionate, not was. The boys, as well as their parents, were passionate environmentalists. We decided, they decided that a cleanup campaign, so you see there's an error with the pronoun here. It's they decided that a cleanup campaign would be the more effective way. No, it would be the most effective way to improve the surrounding community. A visit to a nearby park was organized. A visit to a nearby park was organized. The past tense, so we have to add ed at the end there. A visit to a nearby park was organized to select an appropriate location for the project. And unfortunately, there's an error here with the conjunction. Not and unfortunately, but rather, but unfortunately, adverse weather conditions prevented them by starting the activity. Inappropriate preposition. It prevented them from starting the activity. So you see, the ultimate goal here with understanding your parts of speech is not so much so to define what a pronoun is or a conjunction is, but to know what it is and several examples of them, so that when you come across the wrong one, you would be able to replace it with the correct one, the most appropriate one, that is. Sure to like, share, and follow for more.